productivity. It's probably the single biggest area that I kind of surround myself in. If I find something that could be useful, anything that could be time saving, I play around.
Lunch with the Norm. Lunch with the Norm. Lunch with the
Hey everybody, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we had a problem. Our guest is sick. He couldn't come on. We'll definitely make sure he comes on for another podcast. However, Kelsey and I thought, what can we do? We reached out to a bunch of people, didn't hear anything back. So I think something we could talk about today that would be pretty cool is productivity. I can share most of the apps that I have and also the workflows. So I think that'll help people with understanding productivity for their day-to-day activities. So that's what we're talking about today, productivity. All right, Kels, hit the song. In cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. Okay, that's it now. Okay, we were thinking, like, just trying to figure out what we could talk about. I thought we'd probably have another guest that we could book really quickly. I was wrong, but productivity. It's probably the single biggest area that I kind of surround myself in. If I find something that could be useful, anything that could be time saving, I play around with it. And where I find a lot of these is just going into different groups or going into YouTube and finding different people talking about them. But here's some of the things that I use. Okay, this is everything that I use on a regular basis. So the first app is called Cheat Sheet. It's big. It's probably one of the most used apps that I have. So Cheat Sheet is something that you install into your Chrome. It's a Chrome extension. And if you keep your finger down on Command for about 2 seconds, it pops up all the shortcuts for whatever whatever the application you're in. So I'm big on shortcuts. I think I save just hours, probably hours a week, if not more, just doing shortcuts, understanding shortcuts, what they can do, the time that they can help save you. For example, just with your, I have a Mac. So if you have a PC, sorry, but if you have a PC, then it'll be Control. But Command, and just going through and learning one of these, just one of the main ones a week, or a day, that would be, so great. So if you, and I have the main ones, and when they start to get into ones that I don't think will save me time, I don't even bother with them. But simple ones like your Command C, Command V. So that's copy, paste, bold, B, I, italic, U, underline. Very simple things that you can do with your computer. And also, you can also add. So I have a bunch of keystrokes that I've added that I can just go into the back end, go into preferences, go under your keyboard, and you can add just different shortcuts. Now, I do have another one that's coming down the line that is awesome for shortcuts with emails, and I'll share that with you in a second. And by the way, I forgot to put this in my email side, so I'm going to say it now. One of the areas that helps saves us a lot of time and energy is writing templates in Gmail. So we work with Google Workspace, and Gmail is like the different apps that you can add on to Gmail. I'll get into it, but the one of the fastest things that we do, because we send out responses to people all the time, and a lot of the time, instead of being repetitive, I just write a template. Now, another one, and by the way, if you have any questions or comments, or sarcastic remarks, Simon, just throw them into the comment section and we'll get to them. Next one. So going back to cheat sheet. So you can go into cheat sheet, and I could be in Excel, or I could be Google Sheets, anything at all. You just hit the command or the control for 2 seconds, and it'll just pop up. And it comes up with everything. So I'm going to do this right now here, and you can't see this, unfortunately. Okay, come on, pop up. Why are you not popping up? I must have something going on in the background. I just had it there. Okay, come on. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of me, but it works all the time. This is the first time it's never popped up. I don't know why.
No one can see your screen, so you can just lie.
Okay, so it's popped up. It looks
Yeah.
fantastic. It just happened to suddenly pop up. And what it does is it breaks down every area. So if it's for writing, or if it's for like composition or whatever it is, it breaks it down, and then it has everything there. If it's for editing or formatting, you'll see that all broken down. Doesn't work, but for you guys out there, it's working awesome. So cheat sheet, check it out, and it's super simple. It's just a Chrome extension. Another one is Drop Zone. You know how when you're doing, if you have a Mac, and you're trying to transfer over a file or an image, it works pretty good. If you're trying to transfer over a video, it sucks. I mean, you can't do it. So you put in Drop Zone onto your computer, and it's like, a super highway. It just opens up the transfer speed and does it like in seconds. So Drop Zone. Another one that I was just turned on to that I'm loving is called Web Catalog. So Web Catalog, you install it onto your computer, and you put all your applications into it, and it's in all one area. So if I'm looking at any of the apps that I might be working with throughout the day, I can just click on it. It's open. It works within the window. When I click over to the window, then the app it's already on, but there's no memory being used. So you're not eating up a ton of memory on your computer. It's only whatever one you have open, but they're all open. It's just once you click over to them. So I don't know if anybody's using that. I just found out from a friend of mine the other day, about 2 months ago, about Web Catalog, and it's awesome. And it's free, by the way. So you just download it onto your computer and off you go. One that I've always loved, again, unfortunately, this is just for a Mac, but it's Automator. If anybody's out there, I'm just kind of curious if they use Automator at all, or even if they know that they have it on their Mac. Automator has saved me thousands of hours. So you could take what it does is it's a macro. It just runs just almost anything that you can think of. And for me, for example, I wanted to take images. So when I was on any holiday, or when I was back in Hawaii, I would take a ton of pictures. And even for conferences or anything that we're loading up to the web for this podcast, or for my website, or for our brands, if we have a ton of images that come back and we want to add metadata, or if we want to add, compress the size or increase the size, it'll do it automatically. And it literally will take a second to do. I mean, you name it. If it's for resizing or renaming, let's say you have documents that you want to rename to a PDF, easily do that. And there are thousands of different combinations that you can do. So check out Automator. It's you might want to watch a video or two on it just to get it going, but start with simple ones, and you'll see, like, turn a Word document into a PDF, and you can throw 1,000 Word documents in there, so you have PDFs on file, something like that. I usually use it for graphics and either scaling the graphic, changing the name of the graphic. Uh, so there's tons that we could use. Any questions yet, Kels? Like, we'll change the format a little bit today if anybody has any questions.
No, we don't have any questions yet, but I do want to ask the audience if you do have questions about productivity or what Norm is doing himself, you can ask him. Also, if you have a favorite productivity tool or tip that you want to share with the audience, you can let us know in the comment sections, and we can share that with you too. We do have Cool Hand saying, I'm 100% going to be using some of these productivity tips. Awesome.
Great.
And yeah. Also, I dropped this in the WhatsApp group, so we might be getting some questions from there
Okay.
too. So.
All right. So the other one, and this is so important. So many people use crappy passwords, and I've had an account hacked twice. Not happy about that, but I learned to, first of all, have security on your on all of your computers, and I'm not talking about McAfee or Norton. I'm talking about real security out there. And Transmosis is what I use. And it's, I don't know, I forget what it is a month, but that really locks out everybody. And it is like a military grade security. It's not like McAfee or Norton. So just, you could check that out. But within that, then you have to think about your passwords. So passwords, I use RoboForm and I have LastPass. I have both. But our team uses LastPass. For my personal stuff, I use RoboForm. But anyways, what you can do with this is you can share it with your team. So you can go create a password. But all you have to do is remember the password that you have. So you can make it as complicated as you want. And I would for that main password, as long as you remember it, then no problem. And I would write that down, because you're out of luck. Well, they do have a new feature for recovery, but just a year ago they didn't. And if you locked out your, if you were locked out, you were locked out. But now they do have that feature. So both of them do. But what I like about it is, like, for me, I use 28 characters. So it's a mixture of upper, lower, symbols, numerical, and I put them all together. And as long as the website will take it, I'll put in 28 digits, very, complicated right now until ChatGPT figures this out. But I'll use that on every single new site that I'm logging into. Also, when I do that, by the way, I do have a DuckDuckGo account, and I use my alternative email, which is always at duck.com, and it's private and it doesn't allow tracing. So I use that sometimes with Gmail. This is something a lot of people don't realize. First of all, like, if I put in my name as Norm Farrar or Norm dot Farrar, it doesn't matter if you have the dot there or not. Google just sees Norm Farrar. What I like to do is I like to see who is going to target me with email. And I'll go, let's say I go on to this remote. Okay, so I log in and I want to register for this remote. And all of a sudden, I start getting emails and I don't know where it's coming from. So what I'll do is I'll put in, let's say the remote is ABC. So ABC plus Norm Farrar at gmail.com. And that way I can just easily delete any of the crap that comes in from areas that I don't want. I just delete the email, doesn't see the inbox anymore, and I don't have to be worried about all this crap spam that I get. I'll get into that in a bit as well, but I like it because I can do passwords on the fly, complicated passwords, share with the group. And if I need to edit it, I can easily go and edit it. I can put them in folders so they can all be organized. And I use this probably 10 to 25 times a day. So RoboForm or LastPass, those are two that I'm working with. Okay, you just interrupt me there, Kels, like you usually do. But if we
We
have
do
any
have a
questions,
comment.
yeah,
We have a comment from Simon. He says the Pomodoro technique works, but you need to be disciplined. It's no software nor learning, just doing. And basically, it's picking a task, setting a timer for 25 minutes, then working on
yeah.
that task for the 25 minutes, taking a 5-minute break, and then every 4 of those, then you take like a longer break, like a 15 to 30-minute break.
I've tried doing that with freedom.io. That's tough.
Yeah.
But if you use something like that with your calendar, again, I'll get into that when I get into Gmail. Briskine, I love it. I heard about this probably about a year ago, and this is an app that you need to do some work to set it up. Well, you need actually nothing to do to set it up. You just, if you want certain information to be added to an email, then you just have to remember, and you have to add it to Briskin to remember it. So I know right now that there's always a spiel where I'll say, "Hey, so and so, thank you for the introduction. Hi, so and so, glad to meet you. Here's a link to my calendar." And all I do is I hit tab and whatever the word is, intro. Okay, so usually it's just a very short piece. And then anytime I hit tab, intro, it fills it in automatically. All I do is put in the person's name and I can send it off. And I can use this for my address. So my address here, the warehouse in the States, the office in the States, all I have to do is tab US, tab home, tab USA. And all of a sudden it'll come down. My address is as follows, blah, 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 blah. It's so easy to use. So that's called Briskane. Another one that is a huge time saver is, this is a Chrome extension called Clipboard, and Clipboard extension. And all you need to do is every time you do you copy something, and on a typical Mac, you copy something, and then once you go onto something else or something else or something else, you lose it. So this one will allow you to go and copy, and it'll keep everything, the last 10 copies that you had. Now, it could be something like, I know with my prompts, uh, I'll take a prompt, like maybe I'm working on a simple prompt or very complex prompt. And if I copy it, it'll stay there. And if I want it to come back in another chat, I could just, create that and it'll come back. So I don't have to keep going back, and I don't have to worry about how many, at least 10, 10 pieces of copy that I've done. So I can go back to 10 pieces in my clipboard and do that. I'm not sure if you can do that on a Mac without using this clipboard extension. I've never seen it, but I love it. So definitely check that one out. This is another, this is another favorite. Anybody who gets on a call with me always sees fireflies. So we use a note taker, and there's lots out there. Read, there's a lot, but fireflies is my favorite. It just takes notes. Once we get off the call, what'll end up happening is I'll get a link to go and listen to the call. It's the full video. So most of our calls are in Google Meet. So it's a full video. It's a transcription. It can pick out the speakers, transcribes everything. You can take snippets and you can use it for shortcuts or editing the video. But the nice part about this is it summarizes everything. They have you pay a little bit extra for this, but it's called Ask Fred, and you can just type in anything that you want from your call. So can you summarize the call? What are the 3 main action points? And it tells you in 2 seconds. I love it. I wish I had an affiliate for it, because if it just believe me, if you're doing a lot of calls on a regular basis, e-commerce or not, this is definitely something I'd have as one of my favorite tools. Okay, another one, probably out of order here, but for Google. So I travel quite a bit. I want to work on documents that are in my Google Drive or in my Docs. Well, there is something called Google Doc Offline, and all you have to do is click it to enable it, and then you can start working on your documents when you're flying or when you're on a campsite or whatever you're doing. You can do that. So it makes it easy to access those documents. Also, and I think ChatGPT is going to take this over one of these days very quickly, but I like using Grammarly. It's pretty inexpensive. You can use it. It's got its own AI built in right now to help with the tone, or adding or rewriting your emails, or your any document that you've created. But Grammarly's pretty good. I have a premium subscription for that, so it can take a look at any of the documents. Never was good in spelling, so it helps me out. But we also just take the document now and have ChatGPT look at the document and check it for spelling and grammar. So that's another option you can do, and that's free, or $20 a month for ChatGPT. And I didn't put a lot of ChatGPT stuff in here. Not a lot of apps. We'll get to that another time. But ChatGPT is doing a really great job with just bringing in all these new modules that you can use. So it's great. And by the way, Saj Abbas, I don't know if any of you signed up for his tutorials. He's just coming out with so much information on AI. It's one I listen at least twice a week to him and what's new, and I've learned so much. I mean, the guy is the way he teaches is fantastic. So if you haven't listened to the podcast with Saj, go back and listen to it. It's fantastic. Okay, now let's move on to a concentration app. I was using Brain.fm, and it's fantastic for when you're traveling for sleep. I didn't do that at the very beginning, but it actually works really, really well with sleep. But for relaxation or concentration, I turn that on, and you can't believe the difference. Like, you don't notice it when you're doing it, but an hour into it, and you go, wow, I got all this done. Thank you. So it's very useful just to sit down. Like, let's say that you're using that technique that Simon just said. You got 25 minutes. You got to tune everything out, but your mind's always running. This works extremely well for just zoning in. And if you put 25 minutes into it, then it'll shut off, and then you can get on to your next task or take a 5-minute break, whatever you want to do. I use now a free app that comes with my iPhone called Vibes, Vibes. And it does exactly the same. It has more options. So just take a look. If you've got an iPhone, take a look at that. Definitely something that you might want to look at. I use it all the time. If I've got one of these uh, long tasks, these priority A tasks that I got to get done, and I'll know I'll get interrupted, but I just turn it on, block everything out, and I just go for it. So that's Brain FM or Vibes. And now another useful one. I use this not as much as I should, but I use Mac Notes, and our team, just shares Mac Notes back and forth. You can use Evernote or Keep in Google, but I just like it because it's easy to work with, easy to organize. But what I use with it is this app called Link to Text Fragment, and Link to Text Fragment. And I can go on to any website. I can just take a snippet and it makes it into a link for me. And I could just post them into my notes. I could put a little blurb, or if it's self-explanatory, these are just links that I want to click on. And it just makes things extremely organized, and you only have to take the snippet out of the article that you want. Or let's say it's a website. Let's say it's something that you really want to buy on Black Friday. Well, all you have to do is take that snippet, put it into your wish list, and then it'll take you directly back to wherever that landing page was. Something for us, and this is called More Colors for Calendar. I color code everything in my calendar. And so a lot of the times, the colors that they give you in the Google Calendar, I run out of. So I need to get more calendar colors. So I use this. It's called More Colors for Calendar. And you can just plug and play, just different colors that you want. Now, Kelsey, I'm starting to get feedback.
Oh, okay. Let me just mute myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Well, was there any questions?
No, but I was gonna ask, just to get a feel, like when you were becoming this entrepreneur and starting to manage multiple businesses, what was your productivity like at the worst, and what were the changes that you made that kind of like got you out of that and made you able to get a hold of your businesses and have more control?
First of all, it was terrible. So it was horrible. And one of the first businesses, real businesses, like I had businesses with three other guys in high school. And I mean, but it wasn't, it wasn't a big business. We had a few gigs here or there. Same thing within college. I had a video production company with a friend, and made some money. But when the first big business came up, it was very tough to manage because we were getting so much business coming in that we couldn't handle it. I was stressing out. My partner, wondering if he's listening. If you are, hey Dave. But he was a lot more casual than I was, and I was sort of more into operations, and it would just tick me off seeing things. You go a step forward and not 2 steps, but 5 steps back every time you got into the office. And I wasn't organized. I was not into prioritizing anything. It was like, what's on the top of the pile today? And, mostly stuck I was mostly in sales. So sales and operations, but I didn't know I'd be taking over the operations side of things. But I started doing time management through a company. I forget what is Priority something, and paid a lot of money for it. And that taught me how to schedule. So just scheduling out things and writing it down, that worked. Then the second thing was reading the E-Myth. It was just called the E-Myth at the time. Now it's revisited, and now they have copies everywhere for all sorts of businesses. And then taking the E-Myth Academy and going through there and understanding what it is to build a business, and understanding how to, just build the brand and the mission statement and the processes and the SOPs. And so that helped me out, but it took a lot of time. And I remember like the first thing that we did to get this thing going is we had about 23 people, and we got them in. Uh, everybody got really busy at the time of their job. Like at 9 o'clock, it was always swamped. So it was great. Like we had such a great culture at our first business. Everybody came in at 7 in the morning. They started at 9. They came in at 7 to do this initial policy and procedure. And that's where the famous coffee policy came in. And so the coffee, that's what we worked on the very first is the coffee. Why is it important? Why is it important to grab the buy-in? And there was a lot that came out of it. It wasn't, just, oh, this is such a stupid policy. And it actually, at the first 23 people out of 23 people said, this is stupid. Why do we come in here at 7 o'clock to learn how to make coffee? But then we realized that there's a lot of reasons. First of all, it was pissing off a lot of people that would go to the back and the coffee was burnt, or the coffee was too light, or it was too much. Or if we had a client in, that they wouldn't get a coffee until they were ready to leave. So that was a problem. And so how do we resolve the problem? Who's responsible for it? And actually, I almost lost my sales manager over this, who was making 6 figures plus a 3% override on all of our sales. And he drank tea. He came in at 5 a.m. every morning to be, on his own. And so he said, he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And so we had a 3-strike policy. So, hey, come on. I almost said his name. And if Dave's listening, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I brought him into the office and I said, look, you got to follow this. This is, we voted on this. Everybody agreed to this. Whether you like it or not, you got to do this. And refused the second day. Second day, I had it in writing. I handed it over to him. He goes, what's this? And I said, this is your warning that if you don't do it next time, we'll be dismissing you. He goes, you're never going to do that over coffee. And I said, if you can't do a simple policy and follow the rules, then how are you going to follow anything that's more complicated? And then he kind of got it, and he never missed making the coffee. But we had, like, prior to doing the coffee, we wanted to cut our costs. And we had this one lady, oh my God. She said, okay, well, she got the filters. No, she didn't get the filters. She got the coffee, like she'd get, a few tins and put them in. But to save on filters, she went to Costco and bought a pallet. A pallet. And I go into the back and I see a pallet of, like, I'd be using them today. And that was 30 years ago. So anyway, the point is, what this showed me was I can tell people why it's important. I can give them the definitions. I can give them any prerequisites, what you need to know. I can give them the SOP. I can give them a report, like who do you report to? What are the quantifications? And so when are these updated? And here are the templates. So instead of trying to figure out where does the coffee go, everybody knew. Everybody knew that it's here, that it's, this is where you put the coffee, the creamer, the whatever it was in this cupboard. Can't say you don't know where it is. And then how to make the coffee. That was the SOP. You do this. It's so many tablespoons. And it worked out really well. From there, we made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of SOPs. Our productivity went through the roof. We had, and this is when you have it. You can go on vacation, and I came up with the concept of just contact me only if there's an emergency. I switched and I got a different email, so nobody can get a hold of me except my assistant. So it was for emergencies only. And prior to that, I'd just land and I'd have 10 messages on my phone about something stupid. Like, how do I contact so-and-so? 411 back in the day, 411, not too hard to do. So I was getting people calling me to solve their problems that they could easily figure out. This way it was just strictly emergencies. So that works even to today. And what this allowed people to do is to focus on what they had to do. They worked 8 hours a day. But here's the big but. If they did their job, they could go, like they were only committed to 4 days a week at the end, and we would pay them for a full 5 days. And if they were going on vacation, we had somebody that automatically knew what their jobs were, who are they contacting, everything was there so they could go on vacation. So everybody got a 4-day week, paid for 40, and it turned out to be a great, something that really changed the game for me with running businesses. Was there another part to this?
No, I think it is time that we go over to the Wheel of Kelsey prize. Also, we have to go over to an ad read as well.
Yep. Okay.
So for today's Wheel of Kelsey, Norm, are you still good for the press release / blog article, one or the other?
Yeah, sure. So press release, blog article. And Kels, while you're here, what about a video? Would you help anybody out with a video?
With a video, I would love to.
You would love to, until we hang up, and then you're going to be screaming at me, right?
That is correct. So
okay.
you'd also like a video. This could be a UGC video, an unboxing of your product, or if you have a discount, I can include your product in one of my deal videos.
Well, unless it has to be 4.4 though for your deal
Yeah,
video.
it has to have certain requirements too. So, and also the deal has to be a significant kind of discount. So I know that's not for everyone. So I'd be happy just to do like an unboxing or some sort of shoppable video. So yeah, so you get your choice of a press release or blog article, and then a video from me. So if you are interested, write hashtag Wheel of Kelsey in the comment sections. You can take 2 people for an extra entry, and we're going to be announcing the winner at the end of the episode. So if you have questions about Norm's famous coffee SOP2 or any of the things that he's mentioned during this episode, let us know in the comments. This is a Q&A for Norm. We don't really get to have these too often. Usually we have our guests with us. So this is a good chance to pick Norm's brain. Let us know, and then we're going to run over to an ad quickly, and we'll be back in just a few seconds.
This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high-quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skill and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today, and now let's get back to the show. All right. So if anybody does have any questions about whatever we're talking about, just let me know. Yeah, that one, learning the E-Myth and the concepts. Now there's EOS, and there's a whole bunch of other takeoffs of this, but just getting a system in place where you can scale and automate things is so important. It really has changed everything that I've done. I wouldn't be able to do what I do today if this didn't happen. So a big portion of this, by the way, is training and delegation. I'll get into that in a second.
And then also I want to just ask a quick question about specifically like with Amazon running your brand. Is there any specific areas that you've run into where you've needed to be more productive and find a way around it, or that you might see people that are just starting out on Amazon, they're kind of stuck burning the candle at both ends? Is there anything that you could recommend kind of Amazon specific that's really helped you?
Yeah, it's not any one task or 2 tasks. It's I would create a Loom video for whenever I touched anything, and if I thought it would be repetitive. So even if nobody saw it, I was ready to give it out to a manager. So we'd hire a project manager, show them what we were trying to do. The very first thing that we would do is try to get them trained on building policies and procedures, SOPs. So how does this tie into Amazon? Well, this could be for product opportunities, which, it's pretty difficult if you're hiring somebody off like right out of the blue, and you might have different ways of doing things than they're used to. So product listing optimization, uh, we're pretty thorough when we're looking at a product listing and what needs to be there. So product listing optimization, I'm not sure how many different checkpoints or tasks are in that task list, but we have quite a few, and each one of them has some form of SOP. If it's an infographic or video or whatever it is on a slide deck, on building the titles and bullets, um, adding the flat files, for example, that's a, a very long SOP. So these are things that we could give to people, and all of a sudden they can get those done. So if somebody didn't know what a flat file was, well, we had an area. So we use a project management tool. The people are brought on, so collaborators, freelancers, employees, they would be all there. And if we go into the back, let's say you have product listing, product optimization. So if you're only doing it as a brand, that's one thing. For an agency, the projects would be by the client name. But if you're doing it by like a single brand, you would just have Amazon listing optimization, Amazon launch and rank, Amazon PPC. I always say Amazon because who knows if you go to Walmart, if you're going into retail, wherever you're going to go. So I always have AMZ in front of it. And then just to give you an example for our launch and rank. So we had close to 400, I think. No, it's 279. 279 different tasks within our launch and rank. But it sounds like a lot. But when you're looking at, let's say one brand, you might be looking at one ASIN that's doing it a certain way. And so you might be looking for influencers. You might be looking for, I don't know, some form of giveaways. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And so we have a task list, which is at the top. In the description in the task list, it says, if you do not, or if you have not done this before, please check out the SOP. So the SOP, that goes over to Google Drive. It goes into a folder. So naming protocol is really important, but it goes under a folder, let's say launch and rank, and then it'll have whatever that task is, the task is within the task list. So it might be, let's say it's giveaways. All right. So you go into the giveaway side, and if there's 4 different giveaways or 4 different styles of giveaways that we'd be working with, then there'd be 4 separate tasks that would have their own SOP. So just keep that in mind. So just because you're giving a giveaway, it doesn't mean it's the same one every time. So then you'd have that. So it'd be another folder. The main thing is you'd have a policy and procedure. Now, like I said, my policy and procedure has the SOP in it. So people can click on it, they can read it, they get it, lots of steps. So if they do mess up, they can come back to us with a solution, not us go to them with a solution. If it's the wrong solution, we'll say good try, but try doing this. Then the template. So these are all the templates that you need. If there's spreadsheets or anything that you need, email templates, they're there that people can see. And then training, if you need training. So you have all 3 in one, which all starts with the naming protocol, goes down to the folder that holds all 3 of these things. So that's something that we would do to get people trained on Amazon. So you just have to think of all the different tasks. And that's how we were able to automate and scale. If it was messaging, if it was analyzing, indexing, keyword research, when do we do our competitive analysis? How often do we do that? And, what do you do after you find that? Your results. Like, who sees those results? Is it the same person or is it somebody different? Now, keep in mind, our organization has a lot more people, but if I was just starting out, I would do a Loom video, and Loom you can put it in a folder in Loom, and you can have all your actions that you can give to somebody, and then you can build it out from there. That's what I would do.
All right, we are getting a bunch of questions now, so we can start answering them. This one is from Nick. How do you avoid getting overwhelmed by managing and supporting your team?
Because I find somebody right off the bat that will take that pressure off of me. So, and then it's their responsibility as we grow to find somebody to train. So everybody on our team. So let's say that we have, let's say it starts with me. Then if there's somebody like it's coming on that's new, let's say it goes over to Vandana. So Vandana is the senior project manager. So from there, she's trained exactly what to do, how to do it. And then if we're bringing in, let's say we scale the management company. So if we bring in 1, 2, 3 project managers that she's overseeing, they can go out and they can build their own SOPs, or they know exactly where they are. So it really does come down to training and just trusting. People are going to make a mistake. And so this is where I think a lot of entrepreneurs or sellers make the mistake, is that they think that their general VA is going to be perfect. And that's not the case. So you have to do a training, or we've done this, is you go on to Free Up, or you go to onlinejobs.ph, and you hire somebody that's an expert in Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you want, and you let them learn. So, by the way, another area for us that it used to be me, but now we don't have time to watch like uh, 40-minute, 3 hours, 3-day summits, right? You go to a summit and you sit there. We'd rather just have somebody or have an app, record the summit and then summarize anything that comes through. So out of, it might be 8 speakers, and out of those 8 speakers, it might speak half hour, 40 minutes each. And you can have your app just record it, or a VA watch it and just write down the 3 main points. That's all. And then the question is, how do you implement whatever they've learned into the company? But that way you're getting all the fresh content that you need and implementing. And this is something, by the way, we slipped up on when we started Lunch with Norm. We'd have all these incredible, people on here talking about this app or this concept or this tactic or whatever it was. And a lot of them we had all the intentions to follow up on, but they kind of slipped through our fingers because we got busy. And now it's a different story. So, but before we didn't follow up with all these, really incredible tips that we had. Now we're implementing, and now we have it where it's part of the podcast. So afterwards, we go back. We have somebody right now. Hi, Mary. So Mary is right now. She's listening off to the side, and she's like time stamping just everything that we're going through. So that's going to be good for repurposing, but it's also it's good when guests are on and they're talking about apps or things that we should try. So that saves a lot of time.
All right. Our next question is from S. Green. Do you have any recommendations for a consultant to assist in building a team, creating a hiring plan, and establishing the proper structure?
Oh, I'm so biased on this one. So, let me see. That I don't specialize. Like I don't know people that do that for a living. However, so we work with Teamwork. And what I did with Teamwork is I got the platform. I started using their project management tool. They also have a CRM. They also have a communications and a tech support module that you can use. And so I was trying to understand this without getting out having to do it myself. So I hired a consultant from their website. It was expensive. I think it was 12K, but they set it all up for us and trained us, like the whole team, on how to use it. I wouldn't say if you're on a budget to do that, but you could probably find somebody that could help you out to do that. And that might be on LinkedIn, or that might be again on for operations. So you want to specifically talk about operations. You could even go to I asked Galad if he could come on today from VAA, but he couldn't. But even ask a company like that who might know of people that you could use on a part-time basis and then get up and running. So I mean, I could easily, off the back of my hand, do something like that, but I don't know what I would charge. Or and again, I don't come on the podcast to sell. So yeah, I would start there. If you wanted more information, you could always reach out and talk to Kels.
Okay. We're still getting lots of questions. How are you for time today?
I'm actually pretty good for time today.
Okay, so I'm gonna just try and pick. This question caught my eye from Simon. Hey Norm, you have hundreds of irons in the fire. You love what you do. Do you ever switch off? Do you feel that switching off is important to prevent burnout? What do you do to switch off?
I'm an addict, pure and simple. I could have been an addict in any area. I'm a workaholic. So I pretty much, the time I'm up, I'm thinking, and I can't turn my mind off. So that's the problem. A problem that used to be is that I'd be looking at too many things all at once, and the irons in the fire weren't related. So, oh, it was this, or it's this industry, or that industry. Now I've been able to train myself that, and a lot of people approach me to either do partnerships or do something with them. And most of them just, it's either not worth your time or it doesn't fit in. So even though my mind's going a million miles a minute most of the time, I will focus in on what I can vertically integrate into the company. And that's important. So whatever I do, when I'm doing it, whether it's Honu, so doing the product innovation, 3PL, supply chain management, that's one company that does multiple things. That's on its own. Afalabi runs that. We have a meeting once a week. Then we have the AMZ.club, which is soon to be Dragonfish. And that does all the everything from, and we do it well, website design, SEO, Amazon managed services for either a brand or for people that don't want anything to do with Amazon. So I had to figure out how to do that. But, throw X number of dollars, we'll find the brand, we'll do the packaging, we'll set up. You don't think about anything. Then you've got the Walmart side of things. Then you have the new retail side. So that's AMZ. But then on the content side, you had PR Reach, now Netfluence, which is doing press releases and content and influencer marketing. So all of this ties in together. And all companies have somebody extremely, I can trust them like the back of my hand. So they get their job done, and I can just do what I want to do. And so this allows me to do podcasts. This allows me to go on events. This allows me to, do, we've got Kevin and I are going to be announcing a new partnership coming up in very short period of time, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. But we've got something really cool happening right now that's going to encompass all of this. So anyway, and there I said, I don't know how many times I said anyways this thing, but probably 100. But Simon, lots of irons in the fire, but other people run them. All I do is give the direction, and that's it. And then each one of them, although they're like, when you first start working with somebody, they might not want to work with your project management system. They can be stubborn, but it's better if everybody works on the same communications platform, because then everybody within the companies can talk back and forth. So that's how I do it. That's
All right. So this one is from Sasha. Is the launch and rank stuff that you mentioned before available on a spreadsheet? Can you please comment? Is it now easier to launch high ticket products via PPC with no giveaways?
Well, yeah, that's the thing with high ticket items. The beauty of high ticket items is you have you better have more margin, which more margin and a lot more room to play allows you to do a lot of more external traffic, or get influencers, or get whatever it takes to get people over to your page. It could be a newsletter, it could be email campaigns. There's a lot of things that you could do for blitz marketing for larger ticket items I can't do with soap. So that's definitely something that you could look at. But I don't have a spreadsheet. Some of the things that we do internally, I do keep, like, they are more proprietary than what's out there. So I try to keep those ones a little bit closer to the edge. That's why people come to our company to work with us. So I can give like the basics out there, no problem whatsoever. And that's probably a lot more than what you'll hear from others. But yeah, there are certain things that we'll do, or we'll get people to write certain processes for us that are experts in the field that we pay a hell of a lot of money for. So those ones we kind of keep closer to the chest. But willing to answer any questions though, Sasha.
All right, we have 2 questions just related more to Amazon from Josh. Hi, Norm. Is there a limit to how many sales I can do for a product in a particular time period? I'm setting the sale up in the back end under the offer tab.
If I understand the question properly, no, there wouldn't be, as long as you have inventory.
Okay, and his second question, if I make a sale for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, can I start another sale that Wednesday?
Yeah, and what you can do with this, okay, so this is a whole other topic, but Google Business Profile. I've been talking a lot about this last week on a variety of different podcasts. People are missing out on that. With anything that you're doing over on Amazon, it's Wednesday. You can't do it now, but prior to this, and you can do it actually for Cyber Monday, but you can create events or offers off of Google Business Profile and send the traffic over to your Amazon listing, and or your Amazon store, and or your Walmart store, or whatever place that you want. So those are under an offer. But an offer can also be an event, and events get weighted on Google a lot better than anything else. Now, one of the things that who was it that was just on? Ariana? She was just on, and she was talking about schema.
Amara.
Oh, yeah, Amara. Yeah. So Amara was on, and re-listen to that podcast. So she was talking about data structure and schema. And we figured out we can do that with Google Business Profile, which I never knew, which is even better for you. So if anything, get onto Google Business Profile, set up an event, set up an offer, and you'll get some extra traffic. Now, if you also want some extra traffic, I would go to a like more of a traditional press release that will blast out to a ton of content sites. So like a MarketWise, Google News, Yahoo Finance, sites like that. Not all these, small city links. You don't need that. But if you spend some good money, you get into periodicals. It also goes through Harrow. It goes through so influencers, journalists, bloggers can see what you're doing and pick it up as well. So that's something that you can do, and even tie that press release, the link to the press release, back into a post in your Google Business Profile. And that way your profile will have the link.
All right. We just have a couple more questions. We got 2 more after this one from the Bearded Mimic. Have you had any luck with finding a VA that handles your social media, or do you think it's better to hire an agency if you don't have time? And I guess this is more Amazon related versus like a personal brand.
Yeah. So you can do this for Amazon posts. You can do it for, whatever your social media platform works for your brand. Okay. So here is something that you need to realize, and this goes with a lot of things in business, but for social media in general, you can have somebody that writes content. You can have somebody that's creative, and you can have somebody that's engagement. Now, sometimes it's hard to find one that's good for any of those, but you'll only find, what I found in the past is you'll generally get 2 out of the 3. You'll never, ever, ever get 3 out of the 3. So somebody that's good with engagement might suck with the other 2. Now, typically what I'll see is copy and graphics go together, but the third one, engagement, they always suck. It's a real specialist that needs to have engagement. So when you're out there looking for somebody, make sure that you ask for their profile to see what they've been doing. Ask them what they specialize in: content, copy, or engagement. And then ask if it's engagement, because everybody in the Philippines will say that they're an expert in the Philippines with social media. Sorry, any VAs that are listening, but this is what my experience has been, is that anybody, for the most part, is an expert in all 3, and that's hardly the case. A lot of the times they're only an expert in one. So you can go to an agency, but even agencies, just like a web designers might think they know SEO or web development, but they suck in that. They're good with creative, and that's it. So you're wasting your time. You're thinking you're getting a really cheap web designer who does absolutely nothing for you because they know nothing about the proper way to build a website or to create search engine optimization. So that's the exact same thing. Going to an agency, make sure you get that information, and make sure the people that you have from that agency are going to be experts in that area. So that's yeah. I don't know, Kels, you deal a lot with this. What do you think? What do you think about what I just said?
I think you have to be careful. So the quality of the social media is going to really depend on what you have available with assets, and things are just changing in social media. Like if you're using the same techniques that you're doing 3 years ago or 5 years ago, it's not going to work. There's a lot of things that are spam now. Platforms have completely changed, like Instagram, for a lot of people that you can get barely any reach. A lot of the focus is now on like vertical video formats, and then also just the quality of content. It's just so much more competitive with social media. So if you're using social media more as like a billboard just to like be on the platform, that's one thing. But if you're looking for that really high end social media, it's going to be pretty expensive, and you have to just be aware of that. And yeah, or if you're going more just like a paid social media, like paid ads, that's another story. But you really have to kind of narrow down what you're looking for when it comes to social media and your expectations, and that's going to really vary. But if it's just the quality has to be there now, to make any kind of impact and being unique. But again, if you're looking just for like a billboard, you could probably get away with a trained VA, that can just like post regular content, but don't expect to get thousands of views off content, unless you're putting paid ad spend into it, because it's just pretty difficult to make it on social media right now.
All
Um,
right.
and then going into that from Rad, looking into how do you find an expert, and what do you look in, what do you do to look into their expertise? You kind of answered that a little bit.
Yeah. So probably one of the first, if you go to a place like VAA where they have vetted people and you give them the job description, that's probably the most important thing that you can do is a detailed job description. Try to figure it out. If you can't, search it out on the internet and then put it together, send it over so they know what to look for. And I know I've hired a recruiting company once, and it cost a lot of money. Uh, so they come back with the first short list of people. They did a horrible job. Uh, like, uh, and it was for social media, by the way. The first person I asked was, "What are you going to be able to do for engagement?" They couldn't come up with an answer. Well, they did. I could tell they were making it up on the spot. So I questioned them about it. So back in the day, this cost a lot of money. It was about probably around 15 grand for this recruiting company to start hiring, finding the right person. And they just sucked at it. And I gave them the right information. So even during your interview, you've got to make sure that you ask the right questions and that you see that portfolio. But I like the idea that somebody else is going to do the vetting for me. They're going to bring it down to a short list, and then I can get on the phone with them and talk to them. It can first the first interview might be through email. I don't necessarily like that. I'd rather get on the phone or on Zoom or whatever it is, talk to them, look at them. They're going to be nervous. You take that into consideration. But as long as they have a good portfolio that it looks like they can do the job, that's great. Now, what do you want to do? This is the other thing. So one of the things that I always kind of put in there is I don't want to train somebody that I'm not a specialist in. So I'm not going to train somebody for analytics. I'm not big on analytics. I'm aesthetics. So I can't pretend to train somebody. So that person better be more knowledgeable than me when I'm hiring that. So if you're hiring for your weakness, like an accountant or bookkeeper, they better know a lot more than you, or your business is going to fall apart, or that aspect of the area of the business is going to fall apart. That's why it's working so terribly with Kelsey.
That's on you. We got two questions left from S Green. Who should be the first to hire? If I hire a generalist, then later on it's hard to build out a team of specialists. What are your thoughts?
Generalist. So you're just looking for people that are going to take up most of those repeatable tasks. These are, I'll create a task board. Okay. So put them into 4 columns: 10, 100, 1,000, and $10,000. These are just numbers, but all it is from low to high. So what I'm working on is the 4th column. What everybody, well, the repetitive tasks and most repetitive tasks are the 1st column. So any of those columns, the 1st column, that's the first thing I'm trying to delegate, and those can usually go through a general VA. Now, your general VA is not going to be an expert in Facebook or Google or Amazon. They're going to be an expert in general tasks, and then get them training. So that's what we offer in our company is 1 hour a day of training. So that's 1 hour a day of training. Don't care if you do it in a day. Don't care if you do it on Friday. Don't care if you do it on a weekend. Just get it done. It's paid. We pay for the course. So everything's done. And then you come to us with, what you learned from that. So that's what I would do is let them do the training.
Okay, and our last question is from Simon. Taking that VA question on a step, I find that many are great out of the block, but tend to fizzle after 3 months. They seem to pick up more and more clients and spend less effort on you. How do you manage that nonsense?
That one's an easy one, Simon, and we did experience that. And usually that followed up with less availability and more emergencies. I have a family emergency. And what we found out after this one VA told us her mother died 3 times, something's up. And so the more we looked into it and the more we talked to people, we found out, I'm sorry, Mary, but this happens a lot in the Philippines. You've never done this to me, but we found out that the VAs coming out of the Philippines, you've got to pay them. And if you think $2 an hour and you're going to go brag that you're paying $2 an hour, then you're going to get somebody that if $3 comes up, then that'll be a problem. And another thing is if I'm going to be hiring at around $20, like 20 hours a week, I'll see what I can do to bump it up to 40 hours. Because it's very important that there's security and there's loyalty over there. And, I think we have a really loyal staff. Like, I don't know anybody who's taken days off. They've asked and sure, go ahead, but we've never heard, oh, I have a family emergency. Very odd it would happen where at the beginning that was happening a lot. And what we found out is what we were taught from these outsourcing companies were totally wrong. And like Mary is, again, you guys probably haven't heard me talk about Mary, but this is a show about productivity. And I will get into one other thing after this that Mary does, but she needed a mic. And we talked and I said, wow, it's really tinny or bassy. And we all kind of laughed about it, but her mic had given out. So I'm not asking her to go get a mic. I'm buying that mic. If somebody needs a computer, the same thing. So if the productivity is going to cost you 4 times because they have a slow computer, I'm there getting that computer for them, especially like after a year, then no problem. Up to a year, I'm paying for like on a monthly basis. But if let's say something ends up happening after 5 months and they leave, the way that we've worded it is that they would take over the lease. Has that ever happened? No. Have I had somebody leave and not pay? Yes, but I made an arrangement with them to do that. So it's just making sure security's there. Security blanket. They want to go home and they want a secure lifestyle. They want to be well paid, and you've got to give them the tools to succeed. That's my spiel on that.
Okay, so I think we are good to go.
Okay, well, I just want to talk about one last thing very, very quickly. And I should have started with this. So I hired Mary to be an executive assistant. So she does all that work behind the scenes from my calendar. If she sees, like the other day, she saw a double appointment, so, oh, you're double booked. Okay. Oh, I know you're going to be in the air during this. Yeah, okay. When I fly in, she sends me my gate. So I know, where to go. I don't have to check anything. So she does all this stuff behind the scenes. But one of the biggest things that she does on a regular basis is she works with Google Workspace. And so booking appointments, making sure that I'm on track, making sure that they're color coded correctly. And then the biggest is Google, my Gmail. So this for any entrepreneur is a killer, especially with all the spam that goes out there. So we have a method where we use 7 different colors, 7 different stars from what is it? Yellow is just for general. Red star is important. Red star exclamation is urgent, important. Green is a receipt. Green exclamation mark is paid receipt. A task that comes in that just came through email is orange. So we have them all. Anyways, there's a group of stars that I see when I open up my email in the morning. But behind this is that there's Mary, I don't know, we've probably got 1,000 filters that we've built. And these filters will either, we label them as well. So it'll be to be approved. So the first time archive or one time archive, she'll have a list there for me. I just glance, drag it over. Yep, archive. And then she's got archive or delete. And this is ongoing. So if I have something like there's some groups that I read either their newsletters or their emails, she'll just tag them over there, and I just take a quick look. Then she just either auto archive or auto deletes. It goes into a filter that we've put in with a label. So it could be any of the newsletters, or it could be any of the groups or organizations I belong to. And then, so that starts to clean out everything. And then with spam, so in spam, it's going to slip through. So we see these new emails that come through, and these are just get rid of them. Just like auto. This is auto delete. Don't ever want to see this again. A lot of the times, what I found is if I unsubscribe, that just opens up the door for these guys to send me 10 other types of emails, like they're selling off the list or something for anybody who unsubscribes. Unethical, but it happens. So we just auto delete them. So now when I get up in the morning, I literally have, if I didn't filter, probably over 1,000 emails that come in every day, at least 1,000, probably a lot more. By the time I get in there, I'll see 30 to 50. And a lot of them, Mary just might not know what it is. So it's purple. So she doesn't know where to filter it. So once it's done and filtered, that's gone. So that's what I'm doing to keeping the inbox. And I try to keep a 0 email inbox. Now, I don't always get it down to 0, but it might be like 10 that are left, and I'm just not sure what to do with them. So that's one thing. I have an application that I use called Boomerang, and Boomerang's a lifesaver. It just it tells me if people have read them. That's not too different, but it also moves emails out of today, puts it 4 hours ahead, the next morning, 2 days, a month, whatever I want. And I can start assigning those emails. Plus, you ever have that where you have a person wants to meet with you, but you don't know what days or times that they want to meet? I can hit meet suggestions, send them over 4 or 5 days with different time periods, and they pick one, and then it automatically assigns a Google chat, and we're good to meet. So these are all time-saving things that we put into it. Let's see. I just want to see if I covered everything. Yeah. And also Boomerang is tied into your Google Calendar as well. And we also integrate Google Meet in there. So that's about it.
Okay, we got one question that's squeaked in here. What software would you suggest to handle multiple email addresses?
Oh, I use Google Gmail. I have about 25 different email addresses, and I use an app called Email Signature Rescue, which allows me to put really cool looking signatures into all different emails.
Okay, awesome. So I think that's it for questions and comments. We got a bunch of great awesome episode today. Definitely re-listening. So looks like you knocked it out of the park.
Wow. And I only got about a third of the way down the list. There we go.
All right. Well, it's time. It's almost time for the Wheel of Kelsey. We've got the Seller Basics ad read.
Oh, I don't have it, Kels.
It's in your Skype.
Oh,
So
it's in
we're
my
all
Skype.
set. Yeah.
So give me a sec here.
Hashtag Wheel of Kelsey to join the giveaway. We're going to be doing that in just a few minutes. It is for a free press release or blog article. So you get a choice of those two, and then you get a video, a product video filmed by me. That could be a UGC or unboxing, or it could be part of my discount videos as well. So it's your choice. It depends what you're looking for and your product, but we would just arrange that afterwards. But make sure you get those in. Hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, and you get to go.
All right. So let me see. I got it here. Oh, now my computer's hanging. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's hanging, of course.
Yes. Yeah. The one time we need to do your face is frozen.
Is
and,
it?
It is. Maybe I'll do the ad read today.
Sure. There you go.
Okay. I gotta. Hold on, everyone. This will be.
Did you learn how to?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut him off right now. All right. So just a second. Here we go. Let me see if I could do this. All right. Hey, Amazon sellers. Ever faced with account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon account's guardian. With just $99 a month, Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. No long-term contracts. Cancel with just a month's notice. Pretty nice. View Seller Basics. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. No long-term contracts. Cancel with just a month's notice. I just read that. View Seller Basics as your Amazon's account health plan. Check it out at sellerbasics.com. Note that Seller Basics is an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results can vary. Membership needed before events leading to claims. Terms apply. You can find that in the bio if you're interested. And check out Seller Basics.
Okay, so I'm probably hanging, or can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right.
So we're going to go to the Wheel of Kelsey. And yeah, here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, we got a couple more entries. It looks like we have Supersonic. And let me just double check. Who is this Facebook user? Unfortunately, sometimes you come up as Facebook users, so I just got to find who this Facebook user is. If you go into the captions, if you ever find yourself as a Facebook user, you can go to the captions and go to the streamyard.com/Facebook, and that fixes that issue. It's just a one-time thing. It looks like it's Sasha. All right, so let's shuffle these up. Give this a spin. If you are the winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. And it looks like it's Rad. Rad, congratulations. Please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. And congrats. All right, Norm, how are you doing?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. You're good to go.
Is it back? Okay, very good. I don't know. It's happened twice, but okay. So I think that's it for today.
It's convenient that as soon as the ad read is finished, you came back like that.
I just wanted to hear you read it. Okay, so it was Rad that won. So congrats, Rad. I think this is going to be a really great prize for you. Okay, so I think that's it. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Today we had to ad lib. Hope you liked it. Hope there was a little bit of fun. You learned something too. If you want to be part of our community, we have a great community. You could either join at our Facebook group at Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast, or you can head over to our WhatsApp group. And I think Kelsey's been putting that in there. Pretty easy to find. So Kels, maybe you can put that in. And we got a bunch of them. I think we got over 100 people that joined us last week. So yeah, very popular, surprised, but 2 different types of communities. So I'm finding WhatsApp to be just great for just quick conversations going on in there. Lots of people are commenting on different questions. Anyways, lots of fun. If you want to join, let us know. And I think that's it. So until Friday, are we doing? Yeah, we'll do something on Friday. So we're doing a podcast on Friday. I know it's Thanksgiving in the US. We're Canadian. We had our Thanksgiving last month, so we'll still do a podcast this Friday. So join us live this Friday, and we'll see you later. Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcast, click over here.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.